Today is September 13th. We got Sharp Stats. We got an interview or bantering with Boone. That's what we call it. And the Yankees are just absolutely destroying Boston. Wow. Race for last. We're in it.
Talking Yanks with old John Boy. John Boy and Jake. Recaps galore. Weekly awards. Stat lines, steaming hot takes. Get your Yankees news from these two fine dudes. It's time for Talkin' Yanks. Talking Yanks with old John Boy. John Boy and Jake. Talking Yanks with old John Boy. John Boy and Jake.
Hello and welcome to Talkin' Yanks, episode 957. As we are in the home stretch of the season, no playoffs on the horizon. Brought to you by SeatGeek. Jake, how you doing?
James, Davis, everyone tuning in with us. I'm doing all right. We just had a fun guest at the office.
Yankees fan, big Yankees fan.
Big Yankees fan. Big Yankees fan.
Big tall guy.
Carl Anthony Towns just stopped by the office, so that was cool. Talk some Yanks with him. Go check out our, we do a weekly vlog. Some good behind-the-scenes content in there.
It's on the John Boy Jake TV YouTube
Yeah.
channel. So, and some short-form stuff. Yeah.
And he's just tall.
We thought he was going to come in while we were interviewing Boone, and we were going to give him the floor. But they know each other. They're friendly. Boone knows everyone, apparently.
Threw out a first pitch this year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was a pitcher.
Knows everyone.
Knows everyone. Both of them
Yeah.
know everyone. Too well.
I just know everybody.
Anyway, we do have a sharp stats. First, we covered a lot of the injury stuff with Boone, and have we talked about that on here? Just not really. I don't know.
There's more injuries that happened since the last episode.
There's going to be more injuries that happen until after these next two Boston games, probably. So,
Not to mention, we'll get the surprise at the end of the year press conference and all that.
Loizaga goes down. Martian goes down. Both Tommy John buddies.
Loizaga, they haven't said that. They think they're avoiding it.
Yeah.
They said they think they avoided anything major. That's what they said.
Yeah.
I will take them at their word.
Said that with Chad Green and a bunch of other people as well.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's get the Loizaga update. Yeah, it was good listening to you and Joe's. I was a little excited for you guys. You know, you get a little pep in your step when you get to bully Joe's a little bit. Everyone does. And then for you guys to get the Dominguez news right before you recorded, I was like, that sucks, and I was like a little happy I didn't have to talk about it. If I'm being honest,
That sucked. Right before we were
that's
about to
crazy.
record. Right before.
Yeah, literally, we were talking at the plan of the episode. Joe says, "Oh, torn UCL," and we said, "Oh, all right, go live."
Brutal. But, he's out now, so we move on. Florial's the center fielder.
Onward and upward. It's flow time.
Onward and upward. Those
Fine.
are, yeah. Did you see someone said that it should not be feedback anymore. It should be feed forward because the younger generation is the softest piece of shit in the world. It's like Forbes said it should not be called feedback. It should be called feed forward. Unbelievable.
First I've heard.
How about feet forward? That's what I'm talking about.
Get your feet forward.
If you're wakeboarding, feet forward, frog on a lily pad.
Yeah, that's good.
I won't feed forward.
I will not feed forward. I'll fall forward.
It will fall forward.
I'll fall forward. Wall Street Journal. Feedback is too harsh. The new word's feed forward. Should we throw it to Sharp Stats?
I think so.
We, Sharp Stats sponsored by a new sponsor on Talkin' Yanks here, but they've been doing some fun stuff with us. Scott's Lawn Stream. Scott's is a live stream. They're live streaming a backyard 24/7.
Yeah.
I was at the yard last weekend doing play-by-play for a 5-inning wiffle ball game between 11 to 12-year-olds, I believe. There were 6 of them. A lot of home runs, a lot of fun. And they're doing a bunch of live streams with their Lawn Stream Fest. They have Human versus Machine, a classic coming up with The Situation from Jersey Shore. He is taking on a robot in cornhole. I guess Situation is a professional cornhole player, Bags, if you're from the South, and they're playing against each other, a robot. That's kind of daunting for him. Like, I don't know. A robot should beat me. They're doing a bunch of other stuff on their launch stream. And right now you can get 20% off on 2 or more Scotts products at scotts.com when you use code JOMBOY. Let's see. The Situation thing is September 19th. Situation National Cornhole Champ will be facing off against a cornhole robot built by Nick Uhas. I might be pronouncing that.
Uhas.
And then September 28th, musician Andrew Huang will be doing a live set. And last up is Mad Science with the King of Random October 5th. So they got a bunch of live streams going on. And I already did one you can go back and watch where I did play-by-play for a wiffle ball game. It was a lot of fun. So 20% off with code JOHNBOY at 2 or more products at Scotts. Sharp stats.
Hey guys, it's the Queen of Stats, and yep, we're going to talk about some good things again this week. I had this whole thing planned for Jasson Dominguez, the Martian, but unfortunately that's not a good thing anymore. So it's very unfortunate about his injury. But instead what we're going to do is we're going to talk about Michael King as a starter. And I think he's done a fantastic job. You can see it with the eye test, and you can also see it with the stats. So overall as a starter this season, that's in 5 starts, he's allowed 4 earned runs in 18 and 2/3 innings for a 1.93 ERA and a nice 24 strikeouts and just 3 walks. That's a really good strikeout to walk ratio. The first thing that I noticed that as a starter, he's increased the velocity on all his pitches. So what he does is he throws a sinker, he throws a four-seamer, a sweeper, they're calling it, and also a changeup. So he's increased the velocity on all those pitches. That's a good sign that even as a starter, the workload for a starter, he's still able to increase the velocity on his pitches compared to as a reliever. The other interesting thing I noticed was that as a starter, he's throwing more sinkers and fewer sweepers. So as a reliever, he was 33% sweeper, 30% sinkers, and then fastball changeups were the rest, his two least used pitches. As a starter, he's throwing 43% sinkers and just 24% sweepers, and then fastballs and changeups below that percentage. So his sinker is now his most used pitch as a starter, and I'm not sure if that's intentional or what the dynamic there is, but it'll be something interesting to follow, and maybe we can get some insight into that. Also, that's a good thing to note is that he, as I mentioned, he has a higher strikeout rate as a starter. It's 32% compared to 28% as a reliever this season, and a lower walk rate. It's 5% as a starter compared to 8% as a reliever. The results are better too. He's allowed an 5.84 OPS as a starter and compared to a 6.37 OPS as a reliever. Now, one thing that concerns me is that he's allowed only 2 extra base hits as a starter, but his hard hit rate has increased as a starter. It's 46%, and it was 27% as a reliever. But then one good thing that we'll end on is that he doesn't seem to get much worse the second time through the order so far as a starter. So as a starter, his OPS allowed is 37% better than league average the first time through the order, and 33% better than league average the second time through the order. So basically just the same. Anyways, just some stats to chew on for Michael King as a starter, which seems to be a good thing so far.
How about that? Some really cool stuff, and even some even more cool stuff, in my opinion, because Katie has the stats from game started. I believe she's including the game he started against the Miami Marlins.
Right.
But he was really an opener. Brito pitched 5 innings. So in that start, some of the stuff she's saying, he gave up 2 runs, so the ERA is higher. So if you want to say, like, since he's been told he's a starting pitcher, or I even think after that game against the Marlins, they told him, we're using you spread out, and it was much more scheduled. Because in that game, he threw way more sweepers than sinkers. That's that opener act is and with Miami. It makes a lot of sense if the team tells you, we need you to go distance, that you're not just going to pound the hardest pitch on your arm over and over and over again, unless you're Robert Ray, who then got Tommy John. But after that Miami game, I think is when they told him, like, hey, actually, we're going to do this, keep you on a schedule, because there's this drastic difference in pitch usage right after that. where I think the numbers would change. The ERA goes down to 108. If you
his last 4 outings, 16.2 innings. 108.
And those are the last 4 like starts where he went more than he went into the third. He completed 4, completed 5, completed 5. But yeah, we were talking about the pitch usage, and I was a little like I wanted it to be more, but the reality is you have to be able to get outs with a fastball, and he's been doing that. So it makes a little sense. He did start bringing him back into the mix.
Yeah, and I wonder, Katie, who has a way with her words when she said, now Dominguez isn't even a good thing. That hit my core a little more. King is a good thing, man. He got moved to the rotation, and I was wondering, how much of a tightrope act is it going to be? Because, what if he does get, like knocked around in a game? Does that throw off his building up of pitches? Because we've still only seen him last start against Milwaukee. He got up to 79. So we were 79, 69, 61.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, to be a starting pitching option, and the goal probably in the next 3 starts is to get up to a 90, high 90s, 100. Because that's just a different thing. And you hear, I think Coney was talking about it on the broadcast the other day, that or maybe it was Plouffe, similar guys, that it was just like the real grind is the 6 months of being a starting pitcher and doing it every 5th day. And your body's not going to feel great sometimes. You're going to go your last 3 outings, you threw 300 pitches, without a rest day. Like that's the next step. And King's going to land on a good amount of innings this year, but he hasn't, knock on wood and scared of just this Yankees voodoo this season, but he hasn't had a hiccup since he started starting.
No, it's been nice and easy. A lot of people wonder about his motion, and it is interesting. He went to the windup and out of the stretch recently because he's got kind of a whip to this pitch.
Whippy.
Yeah, which can you do that forever? But its windup is also very similar to Kluber's, and he did it forever for a little bit before injuries got to him. So the other interesting thing is that since he's become a starter, Jake, the drasticness of how he approaches righties is really crazy.
Okay.
If you look at, I have this is his game pitch usage versus righties. The yellow line is sweeper. So he was, for majority of the games, righties were getting way more sweepers than any other pitch because you're not throwing any pitches. Since getting the start, they're like only getting sinkers. 62%, 62%, 58%, 48%, 58%, 46% sinkers. And then the slider, the sweeper's the second one. Whereas lefties, as a starter, are a complete mixed bag now. They're getting 3 different pitches mixed they got to worry about.
Yeah.
So he really likes that sinker. And I think what Katie was referencing with the hard hit rate is that eventually he's not going to be able to do that against righties.
Right.
Like he's running into some pretty good luck with the contacts he's getting and hits turning into outs. But I like that. Well, okay, if that starts happening, tap into the sweeper again a little more on righties, and you can get going.
Yeah, the lefty part of that is interesting to me. I've always liked his changeup, but it doesn't feel like a right-on-right changeup necessarily, so you don't see him adding that to the mix. But, we saw it with Glass now down in Tampa. Sometimes you see a lot of pitchers go, slider and a curveball. That's enough to change it up. But you're going to lean on that fastball, so that's all fantastic news for me. The fact that he's been relying on it so much. And I think...
The changeup versus lefties, the numbers are very, very good.
It's a gross pitch. And that's what originally opened my eyes up to during the Mike King breakout, where I was like, let's not bury this thought, because there could very well be a day like today where Michael King might become a valuable starter for us, which would be awesome and changes the whole dynamic of the team. Like if that's 150 innings for Mike King next year, and then what this Yankee team has been good about is adding to the bullpen. Like that, it really would be one of the better moving parts. And yeah, I think the other team that I'm going to look out for, because it still is a small sample size and, one or two calls, whether that's by the ump or a missed pitch, the walk rate. Katie mentioned it's down, which is like, okay, that's good. That's always a good sign. I wonder if that's like, if you're a reliever coming in for one inning and it's a 3-2 pitch to the opponent's best hitter, Julio Rodriguez.
Skip this guy.
Let's throw a slider out of the zone, and if they chase it, cool. If not, let me get count leverage. Great baseball term.
I haven't heard that one that much. Good job.
Thank you. So, it feels like he's checked all the boxes. And yeah, after his Milwaukee game, I was sitting there like, damn, like he is really executing his way through this, and I'm excited to see. They played it up on one of the ESPN broadcasts, but like he went to a lot of Fenway games as a kid. I think his dad is a huge Sox fan, but his mom was Yankees, and just to piss off dad, he chose to be like a Yankee fan. But he's a Boston College kid, so in Fenway with his first chance to throw 80, 85 pitches, I just hope he builds on it. And I hope he doesn't get fucking Fenway'd.
Where's his what's the date? The Nationals is the first of these 4 in a row.
Yes.
August 24th.
And if you remember, he should have got through not through three quickly, but the last play, I think there was a Volpe error that inning. It was Volpe's like first bad one in a while to end the inning, and that didn't.
So only 3 walks. Sal Frelick, Jake Alou, and Thomas Lane. Your theory was that beforehand, so let me just check. I'll do like July just to see. That maybe he's just walking guys like the best in the lineup. Mickey Moniak.
I think Mickey Moniak was going nuts. Remember?
Yeah. Brenton Doyle, Taylor Ward, Colton Cowser, Austin Hayes, Eduardo Escobar. I don't know.
I just think if you're in a high leverage spot.
Well, if you lose a guy, you're just like, all right, whatever. Next
right.
one.
You can't. If you're the starting pitcher, you kind of say, okay, 2-0 count, I'm going to throw a heater. If you're a reliever, you kind of can't do that. You might lose the game in one pitch. I love it for Kinger. I hope he continues. I hope we get him built up. How many pitches is he at on the year or innings? We're at 83 innings. He's probably got 3 more starts. 4?
Yeah, probably 3 since he hasn't gone since this. Yeah, I don't know.
If we can go 4 times 5, that gets him to 100 innings pitched. I don't know. It's one of the few interesting things to watch the rest of the way, because he can change how the Yankees operate this offseason. If he's earned a fully pencil him in to start.
I don't know if he has, but
I don't think he has yet, but I think he can, right? I mean, he's
3 more.
He's answered every question
2 out of
so
3
far.
good ones.
I mean, you got Cole,
right?
You got Rodon, you got Yamamoto,
right?
You got
Clarke,
Nestor. Bring back Ching,
Heel, Brito,
Nestor, Cortez, and King. Nesting.
We'll work on that.
I did CH because of Chad.
Right.
So I did Chad and King, which
Chester,
is Ching.
Which was originally Chester.
Yes, and then I erased the wrong player and kept I kept Chad around. Oops. You've had an accident.
Luke Weaver.
How about Cashman seeing the no-hitter?
Yeah, and then what was the report? The report was the Yankees are going to offer him more than they offered Tanaka, and it's like, okay.
Yep. And that's a little bit how, if you want to
Nice.
offer the next guy something, it'd be the previous offer.
Who wrote that?
Wasn't me.
They were
The Yankees,
Babylon.
famously, things don't get leaked or
Right.
talked about that much. And someone comes out and says, they said the money. It's going to be 7-year, 150. That's what they said.
Who said it?
Significantly more than that.
Who said it?
I don't know. The Yankees are expected to offer Yamamoto a significantly higher contract than the 7-year, $155 million for Tanaka. So they backtrack the numbers from the Tanaka contract.
Okay.
Could use some bats.
That was my thing when that report came out.
Could use some hitters.
That came from, I believe, a Japanese outlet. So that's, there's some Google Translate happening there. So maybe if we had the true words, it was phrased slightly different. But they said the Tanaka contract, so which makes sense.
Be a long off season.
Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
You like that?
Yeah. Well, I just like Japanese names because they're so phonetic. Because we're translating them to our language, so why would you not make it as a phonetic spelling as you can? So it's like way easier. They don't really do that in Russian. Like when Russian gets translated from their alphabet to ours, it's still not like 100%. I'm gonna know how to say this.
Yeah,
which is weird to me. Why don't you just make it easier?
We got a lot of problems with them.
Whoa. Let's go to Boone. Ask him about that.
Jim, Bantering with Boone is brought to you by Vizio V. Vizio value. Vizio.
Oh, we're spelling it.
The V means value because you can get big old 4K screens for under $500. Watch baseball all year long. Vizio commercial. Wow, you guys are just probably going to steal that and use that. You're welcome. Vizio's Watch Free Plus offers MLB Network totally for free, right out of the box. Or you can cast games from your phone, tablet, laptop to the big screen via Chromecast or Apple AirPlay. Vizio is the MVP of value. Head on over to Vizio.com. Check it on how you can elevate your viewing experience all season long. Also, great sound bars. How about that? Click the link in the description. Get your sound game up. Get your TV game up. Bantering with Boone.
Ba-da-da. All right, we got Booney joining us from Boston, winning 2 games in Boston in one day. Is that the first time you've done that in your career? Is that the most amount of wins in Boston in a day you've ever had?
Yes.
I don't know. I didn't have time to do the research, but I think so.
I would think so. I don't feel like we've had that many double headers here, if any.
Yeah, it's a good call.
Been a light doubleheader year.
Yeah, when was the year we had a million doubleheaders? Was that last year or was that 2021?
No.
My head says 21.
21.
I think it was 21, and we were really good in them, right?
I think you started really good in them. I think you started like doubleheader days were really good, and then it balanced out towards the end.
Maybe it was 19 too. We were winning a lot of doubleheaders.
I think 19. I remember a ton of like April rainouts. That might have happened.
Yeah, we've been pretty lucky on the weather this year.
Yeah, that's true. What was going through your head yesterday? Game 1, Clay, bases loaded, 1 out.
Get a ground ball. Put the ball on the ground, baby. Give us a chance. But then just thinking, man, if they tie it up here, go extras, and we got another game, it's like, man, how are we going to get through all these? But, Clay, as that's the thing with sinker ball or sim or low, anytime, even if you're going struggling a little bit, put a few guys out there, the cliche of you're one pitch away, it really rings true. And he made a pitch, great turn. Glaber coming to get that in the only way that he could have, if we're going to make that play. And, the way he did it, put himself at a little bit of risk. It could have kicked off the heel of the glove and the game's over. But I thought he did a great job of going with some urgency, but also you watch him like make the play and then he's very under control and gets a really good feed off to Anthony. He turned it over nice. So that was just a really good way to end a game, and especially an inning there that was getting away from us a little bit.
I mean, you say how are we going to get through this game? How are we going to get through next game? But next game you got McAllister, Misowitz, Bowman, and Ramirez lined up. So you're good to go. I mean,
But But if we go into the 10th and 11th, like those guys maybe aren't available in the next one. So it was pretty cool. It was definitely a fun. Ended up being a really fun day.
What goes on at the end of yesterday? Because hey, win 2 games in Boston, winning 2 games in one day at any time is a good feeling. But you've got 2 relief pitchers in that game who haven't pitched in a major league game since 2019 and 2018, like what I don't know, when you guys gather up at the game, do you make 2 people's belt? Like, does Judge give a speech about what these guys are doing? Like, how does that post game go
down? Who got the belt?
Wow, Flo got the belt.
Wow.
Flo got it.
Screw pitchers.
Glaber had it the last.
And he's not going to give it to a pitcher.
No, they give it. They give it. Yeah, they. How do you think pitchers get it? How do you think hitters get it?
I don't know. Someone feels bad. If we've learned anything from Trevor Plouffe, position players hate pitchers.
Nah.
Well, good for Flo then. So he gets to give it out if you win today.
When?
That's right.
Oh, wow, when. Hey, Boone, for a season that obviously is a failure in a lot of ways, and you're now tied for last place, and not a lot of things have gone right, you're still running into crazy excitement for good and wrong reasons. You know, like you win a game in the 12th after getting no hit through 10. Like it's still somehow headline situations, I guess, like bizarre situations, good and bad, are finding you guys, or the doubleheader and McAllister's big ass smile as he comes off the mound is awesome. And then on the negative side, Dominguez winning player of the week and then going down. Like, are you happy that there's still like things going on and you're not just slowly fading into the end of the season? Or at some point, are you just like, can we just find a relaxed status quo here?
Look, it's being a major leaguer. It's the grind of it all. I think what I'm most pleased with is the continued preparation and fight in the guys, and that starts with the veterans and the leaders. And I think, you know, whether it's Aaron Judge, Gerrit Cole, have done a great job of not only welcoming guys that we've obviously brought into our clubhouse over the last few weeks, and a lot of turnover and some young players, some guys that have been on a long journey too. Not only have they done a great job of welcoming those guys, but they've continued to, you know, really put a premium on preparing and competing. And, you know, when it hasn't been our year, hasn't gone well. And that, to me, you know, through these times and hopefully through the next few weeks, you know, you heard Higgy talk about it. You know, it reveals your character, and I've seen a lot of character being revealed in the way I would hope, you know, through some difficult times. And we want to go out there and we want to win and we want to play well, and we're going to keep trying to do that.
For Rodon gets a start in one of the games yesterday. 9 punch outs with Yankee fans. You know, we're seeing what we're getting from fall training. We've kind of been waiting for the Rodon strikeout game because that's, you know, a big part of his MO. Do you think the fastball had a little more juice on it? It looked like some Boston guys were offering more at the high fastball than I've seen in some of his previous starts. What were you seeing?
No question. I thought his stuff was excellent. But I thought he did, a good job with really incorporating his arsenal into the mix. So he had a presence with the slider, the curveball, the changeup, and was able to land some for strikes, also get some chase with it. But that's going to make the fastball better. And as that game got into the, you know, as he got going in that game and really started executing more, especially up and to that outer rail with the fastball, it had great characteristics. It was a problem. So I think that hopefully was a little glimpse into, you know, what we're going to really start to get moving forward. Look, an important few weeks for Carlos right now. He's going to have 3 or 4 more starts to hopefully build on this one and really build a little bit of momentum going into the off season. But yesterday it was cool to see how electric he was. I actually thought in Houston a couple starts ago, stuff wise was similar. They were fouling off pitches on him all night, so it made it for I think he only went 4 innings, but last night's stuff and getting it to more consistent areas was really big for him. It wasn't perfect. He pulled some heaters where he doesn't want to go with them, but I thought for the most part he was. You saw a peak of how dominant he can be.
I was interested in the pitch mix. Obviously, I mean, you got Coney and O'Neill. You can't hear the broadcast, but they're pretty laboring the point that he's mostly a 2-pitch pitcher. He needs to get other pitches involved. Otherwise, it's easy. O'Neill is licking his lips to get an at bat against him because he feels like he can just guess. And Coney's saying the same thing, which is everyone's thinking it. Yesterday it was interesting because he ends up throwing a lot of curveballs. It's like 13%, but it was in the first inning he threw a couple off speeds. I think he threw 2 changeups, 2 curveballs before he even threw the slider. So it was almost like he was just showing at the start, throwing other stuff. And then in the middle of the innings, he was a 2-pitch pitcher. And then he dumped 5 curveballs in a row to Ref Snyder at the end. So the number at the end looks high. They were still very much just show me pitches. Like, hey, I have these as well. In the offseason, is it going to be something that you guys want him to do? Like, hey, we want you to throw a third pitch, effectively, throughout the whole game to get swing and miss and called strikes? Or is that up to him? Is that he knows his game plan best? He can use his arsenal how he wants to?
Well, that'll be something that Matt and him really dive into, and we'll look at what's the best way to go. It is important to note, the last two years, he's been a dominant starting pitcher with 2 pitches.
Yes.
So that said, you always kind of have to evolve and grow as a pitcher, and as teams adjust to you and as teams see you, certainly pitching out here in the American League East, is another level. I think it'll be important to have at least somewhat of a presence with the other pitches. I also think just being able to, command and throw strikes with his secondary too allows his fastball to be what it should be.
You, saw Jasson Dominguez come up for a week and hit 4 home runs and win Player of the Week and look great. And then he's out for now, 9 to 8 to 10 months or whatever it is. He's out. It's devastating. It was what we wanted to watch and get excited for and see all facets of the game, so we can believe in him fully, next year. We just saw a week of him. It was an awesome week. How did that go down on your end? We heard the report was that he said in Houston on Sunday it was hurting him. What goes into it hurts enough to just keep playing, or hey, let's go rest? And with that strain, if we do rest him, if you guys choose to rest him, is there any going away from it? Or once you're at that point, do you think it's going to happen that he's going to need surgery?
Well, I don't.
So if he comes Sunday and says my elbow is hurting, and if you guys decide let's shut you down, let's not go out there, do you think when he returns, I don't know, you're not a doctor, but what goes into playing and sitting when a guy comes to you?
My guess is it probably happened Sunday or even before, and slowly started to reveal and declare itself from a symptom standpoint, because he never talked about feeling like an incident that happened that was oh, there's something happened. He just was little soreness Sunday, didn't think much of it. Monday we had the off day. Tuesday was kind of similar, but no big deal really. And then Wednesday it was still lingering, so he started getting treatment on it. Still wasn't a big issue for him. And then it was was it Saturday? When he was down in the cages with Sean Casey. Sean actually came by my office and said, hey, Dominguez couldn't really pop the ball like he wanted to. Something with his elbow, or I'm going to have him go see the trainer. So he went back up there. They examined him. They felt some fluid in there, some swelling a little bit this time, and sent him for imaging, and it revealed it, obviously.
God. Yeah, that was tough. That was not to empty our feelings too much, but yeah, man, at the end of this season, we get like our hope, and we're not going to do it now, but we're dreaming on next year and looking at the free agent pool and doing all that stuff. And Dominguez, the switch hitter in center field, changed the dynamic so much. I mean, did you let out like pardon my French, but did you let out like a big fuck? Like I know I did. Like standing in the lawn.
You feel for him. I mean, that's the first thing. But you also, you try to have some perspective and try to have as immediate perspective as you can. And like, okay, obviously a significant thing that's going to take significant time to get back. But, usually this is not something that alters, his career. Like he's going to return 100% from this and be fine. This isn't going to affect him. There should be, we should be in a good spot with it. He's a very young man, obviously. So, inevitably you're going to have to deal with something that goes awry. It happened when it did. He got a full year of development in and put together a really strong season, got up to the big leagues, got his feet wet, obviously did a great job for us for that week being up. Now you're talking about it's September, I mean, timing wise, if it's going to happen, like it's the best time, you're going to go into spring training, probably deep into your rehab where you're, doing a lot of stuff. And, obviously, it's going to cost him probably a couple months of the season, but, he should reasonably be back, at some point fairly early in the year. And hopefully all this buildup from that he's gained this year will serve him and us well next year. So it's definitely a bummer. And you feel for him, but there are worse things that could happen, especially to a position player and especially from a timing aspect.
I think it's the 5th position player in your tenure as Yankees manager to get Tommy John, which is a little odd. You got Glaber, Didi, Hicks. Glaber was before you came. It was the year before. But, yeah, it's just a rarity.
Yeah. Yeah, Glaber, Didi, Hicks, Dominguez. Who's the 5th?
Maybe that's only 4 then. Xavier Nady.
Messed up the timeline there.
2009?
Yeah.
You were in it.
He could hit a little bit, huh?
Oh, yeah. Cal Bear.
Oh, wow. I guess for me, we're still just watching the kids. Have you seen anything different from Peraza? Because he's now putting together like a nice little September. Feels like a lot more barrels. I know he hit a couple hard that were getting caught when he was still kind of slumping. I know he hit a couple soft that started to drop, and now he's kind of going. Is that just baseball Susan, or are you seeing something different from him?
Yeah. I feel like he's in the fight a little better. And hopefully by, continuing to get regular bats up here, he continues to get more and more comfortable, continues to make the necessary adjustments. So we'll see. He made a really nice play at shortstop last night too, and that ball scalded up the middle, a little in between hop. He made that effortlessly. He's at third tonight, so I feel like he's done a really nice job defensively, and hopefully he can continue to build on some of this offensive success, like you said, he's had over the past week or so, and really, really finish strong here and build some momentum for him as well going into the winter.
The young arms, and with Sevy, we didn't talk about that, but that was a devastating moment, and now there's a spot open. And I kind of had asked about Vazquez and Brito, like even before Sevy went down, are you just going to take a look at them as starter? And Vazquez gets the nod, but they pitched together. Randy looked great, and then he kind of ran out of steam in that 4th inning, and he hit his limit, his high of recent pitch count. First 3 innings, he looked pretty nice. Is he going to continue to get the nod, or will him and Brito share, or how do you feel about that?
Kind of share. We'll see, because what he got, I think he got up to 60 pitches this time.
Yeah.
So with that slot open Saturday, I probably wouldn't bring him back on that 4th day this time. So he'd probably be more in play on Sunday, maybe behind Rodon. And you could do some kind of bullpen or whatever on Saturday, depending on where Brito's at. You can start Brito. We'll see. I feel like both guys have done a really nice job for us. And whatever role, they've pitched well out of the pen in some different kind of spots where, okay, we need a little bit of length. Oh, it's turned into even a little more of a leverage length spot. And they've been really representative from a starting standpoint. It's been good to see those guys. Those guys compete really well. And I feel like have grown a lot this year.
Staying on starting pitching, Clarke gets the ball. You want to go?
No, same topic. I just brought up the Yankees probables and Luke Weaver's listed. Like, is that?
Yeah, they just picked him up.
Is that Like, Fangraphs has Luke Weaver starting Saturday for the Yankees. Aaron Boone, you coach a team. Do you have that?
We'll see. Okay.
I think that's a point to Fangraphs.
We did claim him, so he's very much in play, as is Brito, as is opener. Anything on Saturday is possible.
Clarke's innings are getting up.
We have a lot of length, obviously, being brought in with Weaver.
Well, yeah, I saw the bullpen breakdown the other day on Yes Network, and Brito was the fourth in the pen. I was like, holy smokes, with the low going down.
Brito was the what?
Like the fourth. There was Clay, Wandy, right. Canely, Brito. I was like, whoa, where'd everyone go?
Changed quick.
I know.
With Clarke, his a successful season and something to build on and move forward. His innings are getting high. You're getting a lot of injuries. At what point, even without the injuries, I guess, is there a thought to like, hey, let's wind down and not ramp up in these last 3-4?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's part of why I pitched. We moved him to today as opposed to pitching him yesterday. If he had gone yesterday, then he goes Sunday in Pittsburgh. This way, slotting him in the doubleheader, slotting Vazquez and Brito yesterday in the doubleheader. I bump him to Wednesday, so now he'll go Tuesday against the Blue Jays. So trying to give him a little bit more there. But that said, and we'll see how the last start or two goes as far as, how far we push him. But feel like he's in a really good spot physically. He's handled it all really well. It's continued to be really strong. So we're paying attention to it, but we want to go with him.
So who was supposed to pitch in Boston before you jumbled stuff? Or
Schmidt was Monday. We got rained out.
Mm-hmm.
So then obviously, and then Rodon was going to be Tuesday. So we kept Rodon Tuesday and bumped Clarke to Wednesday. And then that way he'd go the first home game when we get back against Toronto out of the off day. So it just kind of built in a couple extra days in leading into this start and then leading in the next start as well.
Was Cole going to pitch in Fenway? If not, he was always missing it.
Yeah, Cole pitched Sunday.
Yeah. All right. Well, that works out very well for Gerrit and the Cy Young campaign. Him and Fenway have not gotten along. We'll tackle that next year and not let it affect the Cy Young chase this year.
All right.
I was wondering if there was any movement there.
No, that's just how it's lined up.
Can I ask about Cole and Rortvedt? I've never seen Cole shake off so demonstrably. I've never seen him like. Is it Big Brother all love? Obviously, he's still pitching to him. He's chasing a Cy Young, and he's a perfectionist. Like, we know Cole is hard on catchers. My heart goes out to Benny a little bit because he's all over him, like at all times.
Hey, Gerrit's all over all of us at all times. Like, he's all in, man, every day. So that's just, I love it. I mean, man competes, man wants it, and he expects a lot from all those around him. And I got no issue with that. And Benny, you got to be able to match it. As a catcher, you got to be able to handle it. Trevi matches it. Trevi can, and now Ben, he wears it, but he can give it back too, and that's important. So
his shakes are so
It's theatrical.
yeah, his shakes are so emphatic that I think the batters think they're fake shakes. I think Cole doesn't even realize that the batters might be thinking he's giving like fake head shakes, but they're not. They're, as you can see, Benny scrambling on his knee, like, oh fuck, shit, okay, this one. And then, but they're just like, no.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's always been fun to watch Cole and his catchers, but we've taken it to a new level.
Yeah, I would say it's going pretty well still, though, so we're all right.
Yeah, he looks great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else we're going to see out of the young kids, or any funky like movement or position developments? I mean, you got Florial up now. Anything you want to see out of him in different lineup spots, positions?
Looking forward to seeing Flo play, man. He's had a great year. He's earned an opportunity, and it's been blocked by a couple other guys a handful of times this year. He's going to, what do we have? How many games left? 17, 18, whatever
17,
it is.
something like that.
I think only 2 more episodes of this after this one, or something like that. So you can start getting sad about that.
Crush it.
I do have a request from my friend. I have a friend. He does this show with me. He grew up in Connecticut, which is between Boston and New York. So it's like, at our high school, people painted their faces during the 03 and 4. It's a very big rivalry state. And you're tied with Boston in the standings. And I think he'd really appreciate it if Boston finished last and the Yankees didn't. Just on like I think he's
Challenge League.
Yeah. You find a win.
I can tell you we're going to try.
Season. Okay. All right. That's awesome.
Take care,
He's
guys.
excited. I can tell by his face. See ya. That was Boone. He's the manager of the Yankees. My name's Jimmy. His name's Jake. We're the guys talking to you about the Yankees. How about that? He was, fun mood for being last place. Did you like me asking on your behalf?
That was for me.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that right at the end. Thanks to Vizio for putting that on. Yeah, kind of funny. They get rained out, so we get kind of booted from yesterday, which made sense. And I'll be honest, I was slightly relieved because needed like a little something else to chew on besides Sevy, Dominguez, and Brewer's sadness. So
And the Wazga came.
coming off of a Red Sox doubleheader where the Yankees...
Most games Boone's ever won in Boston.
Most
in a
games
single day.
Boone's ever won in Boston in one day. We're pretty sure.
We think.
So-
not like 24-hour period. He might have done it before. A night-day game.
24 hours, yeah. Not a lot. Not enough. What else did we learn?
Man, I learned that to be honest with the people, the lineups aren't translating to hungry eyeballs for me. Like, I put on game 2, and I was just like, my cousin Vinny was on another channel, and it was like real tough. Do I want to go watch
Right.
McAwayowitz and Browner and McKillicuddy over my cousin Vinny? And then when I saw McAllister smile when he came off the mound, I was like, okay, this is good. I enjoyed
Yanks
that.
draft pick. He makes his way back.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. But this last stretch of injuries they've kind of been a big blow to my fandom for like, it's just like, oh, let's do the postseason.
The Dominguez part is insane. It's insane. Like, it had me talking to myself. In fact, it had me babbling to myself, Jim. Babble. I've been working on my Spanish. We actually, a couple of Yankees players might be coming to the office next week, I think. Primarily speak Spanish, so I want to, be able to chop it up a little bit, un poco. And with Babbel, you can start speaking and learning a new language in just 3 weeks. This is what I like. They say, hey, why Babbel? You know what they say? Because it works, Jim. Feedback works. Babbel works. Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons are designed by over 150 language experts to help you start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. They're designed by real people for real conversation. That way you don't end up like my Spanish presentation in 7th grade where I just kept going, jugué baseball. And they were like, hey, you got to learn something else, little fella. And right now, they're offering a special limited time deal for our listeners to get you started. 55% off your Babbel. Hideki. Babbel. Babbel.com/Yanks. BABBEL.com/Yanks. Go check it out. Learn something. Be proud of yourself.
I've been learning Spanish.
See?
Que tu mira.
Right.
Yeah. This is how I learn it.
In the end there, he's saying, que tu mira.
Que tu mira.
¿Qué está mirando tú? I'm looking at it now. Makes.
Que está tu mirando tú? Yeah. Joe's and Lou have been teaching me Spanish.
It's nice.
Yep. Then the comments said I had a Caribbean flair to my Spanish accent.
Sure do.
Yeah. Que tu mira. That's what he did in the breakdown.
CXL.
Que tu mira. It was a very weird breakdown. Or move by him. Florial's playing. Thoughts?
Got the belt last night over 2 guys that hadn't pitched in the big leagues in a decade.
Glaber didn't know. He didn't want to decide between 2 pitchers.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be honest. How's he going to pick? So I actually kind of respect the move.
McAllister, the smile.
That's pretty rude.
Glaber couldn't see that.
You heard about it.
Heard about it. Yeah, I don't know, man. What's Florial gonna do? If Florial does go nuts for these last 15 games, it does nothing.
Yeah, I don't know. I
does nothing. It's just like a twist of the knife at this point. Because they're not going to put Florial on the roster. They're not going to believe in Florial. So
unfortunately, I see what they see in Florial.
Which is fine, and maybe that's right. Still 25 years old? So, I don't know. Good at bat last night. Fouled off a lot of pitches.
Yeah.
Huge.
Better to be good than bad, so.
Oh!
Happy for him.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Better to have a good night than a bad night.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's not on the team next year, and this is an audition for someone else to give him a chance. So go Florial, go.
Go Flo, go.
That's the show. Go Flo, go. Love you guys. Appreciate you.
A good laugh during the Clay inning, which we talked about with Boone earlier. At one point, Glaber goes up and talks to him, and Kenobi and I were just laughing. Like Clay have a moment of Glaber's telling me I'm in my head.
Yeah. Glaber.
I'm going to turn the double play. Glaber's the man right now.
Glaber's the man.
His 2 RBI single down the right field line. We'll get to that in the recap if we remember it. But, I mean,
he's blossomed.
He's the type of hitter I've wanted on the team forever right now. He is situationally aware to the fucking max.
Lets it eat early, and
that's awesome. All right, bye. Go Yanks. Tell them, Gramps.
Go Yankees.